Syracuse was founded in 733 or 734 by Greek settlers, and it became one of the major powers of the Mediterranean world. As with all the rest of Sicily, it was ruled by Greeks, Romans, Byzantines, Carthaginians, French, Spanish, Normans, Arabs, and that is why the food is so good. The city got its name from a nearby marsh called Syracusa, if I'm saying it correctly. This is the old section of the city of Syracuse, and this is where we actually prefer to stay. There's a newer portion of the city, but we like staying in the older centers, and Syracuse is actually an island. Syracuse is actually mentioned many times in the Bible. The Apostle Paul stayed here. He may have written a lot of his letters too from here, although I'm not sure how many of the population could actually read them at the time. Archimedes lived here and was killed here in 212 BC during the Second Punic War between the Carthaginians and the Romans. When the Roman forces under General Marcus Claudius Marsilius captured the city of Syracuse after a 2-year-long siege, he wanted Archimedes to be taken alive because he felt that one of the reasons that the city had been able to hold off as long as they did was because of Archimedes. So he wanted that brain power for himself. However, during the siege and when the Romans finally got into the city, Archimedes was carrying his mathematical instruments, and the soldier didn't recognize him, so he killed him. The city was struck by 2 ruinous earthquakes, one in 1542 and the other in 1693, as well as the plague of 1729 and a cholera epidemic in 1837, and this actually led to a revolt against the Bourbon government. It's very easy to walk around at night, and you can find your way around this city very easily. Again, being an island, you can only go so far. This is the Fountain of Diana. Behind it is a building built during the dictatorship of Benito Mussolini. This is the Fountain of Diana in the daytime. It looks like there are 2 catches in one day. The city actually grew so much that 3 times they had to increase the outer walls. Talk about fresh fruits and vegetables, and this is daily, not weekly. The seafood is amazingly fresh. We actually saw fishing boats going out pre-dawn. We happened to have a room that was facing the ocean, or the Mediterranean rather, and they could bring back the catch, and it was sold that morning. Some of it was actually trying to escape its little containers by crawling out of the display cases. The Church of St. Filippo the Apostle. This is the Temple of Apollo. This is dated to the beginning of the 6th century BC and is therefore one of the most ancient Doric temples in Sicily. The other unique thing about this temple is they actually have the name of who built it because he put his name on the step. I'm not sure if you can actually see it on the picture. priest riding his bike to work. How European. This is the Teatro di Pupi Puppet Theater. These puppets are 3-4 feet tall, and in the show you get to see some puppet mayhem as they fight each other while the princess tries to talk them out of it. And she does. So instead they go off and fight the Saracens and chop a few heads off along the way. Being an island, the shoreline has some great views all day long. This is the Syracuse Cathedral, but there's a whole separate video for the cathedral and the bomb shelter underneath it. As the sun sets on one of our favorite places on any of the Rick Steves tours, we get ready to leave the next day. As much as I would like to come back here, I probably will never get the chance, but I consider myself very blessed to have seen Syracuse once.